I am here with my man Goonally, aka BFG. For those of you who know, you know. I'm not going to explain why. But listen, man, let's get straight into it. Your thoughts on the game?
You know what? I feel like there's a lot of maybe a bit of overreaction. I think in the heat of the moment, I think people are going to be a little bit disappointed with the last 15, 20 minutes of the game. But listen, I think for 70 minutes, I think we were in control. I think that it's the first game of the season as well, and I think people need to kind of really assess the game properly. I thought Odegaard in the first half was poor, and I thought Martinelli after the first 15 minutes he started to wake up a bit. I thought Declan Rice and Partey assured us to have the control in the game. Any counter attacks that Nottingham Forest were trying, we kind of snuffed them out quite quickly and quite easily. So I don't know why people were kind of maybe feeling a little bit too down on the game. I think the last 15, 20 minutes we should have kind of had the game wrapped up a little bit more. But listen, I'm really going to try and put it down to the first game of the season, and nothing's going to be perfect. It's not the first it's the first game, and nothing's going to be smooth sailing. Because of that, I watched Man City yesterday, and I thought at times they kind of got caught in the transition, in the counter attack, and Rodri was really good to intercept. So listen, it's going to be a long season. It's going to be a really good, long, drawn-out season. And I thought that there were some really good points that I can touch on.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's the first game of the season, and we were on the watch-along, and I did make the point. Maybe I was being a bit overcritical, but with the amount of possession that we had, especially in about the first 20, 25 minutes, just before the goal, I was thinking that maybe we could try a few more shots, maybe vary things up, switch it up a little bit. You are one of those telling me to keep calm, and then lo and behold, we get the first goal, and then shortly after we get the second. So, yeah, you are right about that. Can I just ask you, what did you make of the new signings, the big money signings, namely Havertz, Timber, and of course Declan Rice?
Well, Timber I thought was absolutely excellent, and I think he brings a real control to the game. And I think actually the fact that he went off actually played a contributing factor into us not having as much control and as much drive in the second half. He kind of really nips in and tries to win the ball back. I think he allows us to have that other avenue to kind of pass out from the back and drive the ball forward. So that was one that I thought he was really good. And it's a shame that he's out, but just on a side note of that, Zinchenko being back is actually really good, and I'm hoping to see him back next week for Crystal Palace, even though I don't think he's played any minutes for Arsenal in the pre-season. I thought Declan Rice was good, and I think people need to really start to adjust to the point that he's there to recycle the ball, he's there to win the ball back, and hopefully to make those third man runs to get into the box. If he does play in that sixth role, he will be obviously a little bit deeper, so we're not going to be expecting him to do as much going forward. But I thought Declan Rice was, quietly good. I don't think he, pulled up any trees, but I don't think that's what the game expected, or we was expecting from him in the game. I thought he was there to win the ball back, stop the transitions, and he did that excellently, especially in the first half. In the second half, he waned a little bit, but this game as well I'm still including it as part of our pre-season. It's the first game. They're getting used to the actual intensity of a Premier League game. And you saw that in the second half because some of the players looked to be blowing a little bit. And it's not about making excuses because ultimately, yes, the last 15, 20 minutes, we weren't great. But it's about trying to take it in its entirety and looking at the game as a whole and saying, look, we were really good, but we have got things to work on for sure.
Kai Havertz, what was your thoughts on his performance today?
Again, first half, I know I'm mentioning first half a lot because I think first half was a real good, solid performance. I thought he, throughout the game, did really hold the ball up. Now, in the second half, there were moments where he could have driven forward into the space a bit more. He could have made the kind of correct decision. And I think as a whole, and including Havertz, especially in this, I think it's just something to do with the decision making. At times he could have, crossed the ball across passed the ball across the box, make the right decision to play the person in. I think, we was on a counter attack and it was 5 against 3 and he played Saka in, but I just felt the ball was a little bit poor and I thought that he could have, passed it a little bit better. But I thought Havertz was good. The thing I like about Havertz is he goes into positions and he gets into positions to create opportunities. It's just about making that final decision. And I think that's an important factor and an important trait to have because obviously we need to create those chances. But I think it's going to come together. I am quietly optimistic about the season. It's going to be tough. It is going to be tough. But listen, first game, Nottingham Forest, you probably couldn't ask for a better team because, listen, in the first half, I think we had like 85% possession and we could do what we want with the ball. We had 15 shots. I think it was a XG of 0.8. So, yeah, that's something we need to work on. listen, I just want to touch on the two star boys of the team, Saka and Martinelli. I mean, in Martinelli in that first half, the drive, the counter press was something which was a delight for the whole team, especially, and it was really, really good to see. And I think he got the most ball recoveries in the team as a wide forward winger. So that's quite good to see. The intensity was there, but that piece of skill, outrageous to kind of get the assist for Nketiah.
And of course, Saka's gone.
And Saka, listen, I keep saying it. I'm gonna keep saying it. The guy's world class. I can't think of anything more that this guy needs to do. Probably now, look, the Champions League is here for him, and he needs to show it on the world stage in that regards across Europe and in European competitions. But listen, the guy is just elite. Like everything he does, he touches, and it turns to gold. And I think every game you see, it's 2-3 players on him that he's having to kind of go against, and he finds a way. You saw in the first half and the second half as well, ripping, I think it was Ola Aina, the left back for Nottingham Forest. They had to change him, and they brought in Nico Williams as well. So listen, man, I think this guy is just slaps it top corner and just he does his pose, man. I think the guy is just absolutely world class, and I think he's going to grow, and I think he needs to get some good numbers this season. A lot is going to kind of come down to him and Martinelli, because obviously Jesus is out right now and we don't know if he's going to be.
So let's talk about that, because it would be remiss of me to do an interview with you and not ask you about Eddie Nketiah up front, because a lot of us were looking at the team sheet in keen anticipation as to who would get the starting berth up top. Some people were saying Havertz should get it. A lot of people were going for Trossard. Some people were going for Eddie, myself included. I know you're not Eddie's biggest fan. But to be fair to him, I thought he ran the channels well, he led the line well, he got a goal. Are you encouraged by what you see up front with Eddie? Would you stick with him for next week?
I mean, look, sticking with him for next week, I don't know if we have another option, really, that is going to be functioning for the team. So I think that's something I would have to really kind of look at and assess and see what the team I would play. But overall, do I think he's good enough? No. Did he play well today? In points he did, yeah, and I'm not going to be, I'm not going to do him dirty and not give him the credit that he deserves, because he was quite good today at points. But overall, I think in the game, too many low moments, and there's too many peaks and troughs in the game for him. There isn't a constant moment of, I don't know, half an hour where he's a good 7 or 8 out of 10. It's real 2-minute burst or 1-minute burst, and you don't really see him throughout the game. And look, that could be by design, that could be me just not seeing enough of him in the game. But I just need a little bit more. And I thought,
so that begs the question then, if I may interrupt. That begs the question, if you're not going to go with Eddie next week, who would you go with up top against Palace?
I would probably go Trossard. I think for what Trossard did when he came on the pitch today, the energy he brought and the way that he, you saw in this, even like the speed that he showed on the left-hand side, I was quite shocked. I couldn't believe that was the same Trossard. I didn't know he had that pace on him. So I think Trossard's ready. I think he's eager to kind of show. And I think the reason why I like Trossard over the likes of Nketiah or even Havertz is he brings other players into play, and he does it so effectively. You saw when he came in last season, the way that he brings in Martinelli. Martinelli seems to be on fire and plays a lot better. Saka, the way he links with Odegaard, the way that he just has that bit of creativity, that piece of skill, and that sort of ingenuity that you don't get from someone like Nketiah. With Nketiah, he's that real fox in the box. Is it a thing where he can't do a job for us, Nketiah? He can, 100% he can. But should he be the second striker? I know he's on 100k or something near that, but I don't think he's that guy. But listen, sticking on today, he did his job. Fantastic, he's taken goal, and that's what I want to concentrate. I don't want to sort of make him the butt of any jokes, because ultimately, everyone played well in that first half, and for the first 20 minutes of the second half, we lost a bit of control, but, work in progress. That's the most important thing I'm going to say. Okay, and finally, I know I spoke to you before the game, and you were predicting before the game that you think Arsenal will win the league this season. I know it's only one game, so obviously, we're not going to get carried away either way the game goes. But are you still, based on what you've seen today, confident of your prediction that we can go on and win the title at the end of the season? Listen, it's going to be tough. I'm not sitting here saying that we're going to walk it. We're not going to do what Liverpool did against Man City. That isn't going to happen. Man City are a great team. Liverpool are doing some good business, or have done some good business. Sorry, Chelsea look to be buying the world, and it's bloody mates as well. So it's going to be tough, but I think we can do it. I think we've got enough drive. I think we've got a manager who trying to find new creative ways to play with different formations. And we've got a good squad. You know, we didn't have Jesus, we didn't have Zinchenko. Tierney wasn't part of the squad today. Tomiyasu didn't start. You know, we had the fluid play of, you know, the 2 new signings that we had. So the window's not over as well. So let's see what else we can do. But I think we've got enough to kind of really go that one step further. And let's hope and pray, man.
Okay, reasons to be optimistic.